Welcome back, my friends, and for anybody new, hello. My name is Meg. I am lactose intolerant, I am gluten intolerant, and I eat on a personalized phase 3 low Fodmap diet for digestive reasons. Now, it is extremely hot outside still. Oh my gosh, it is just so hot, which means I'm still kind of on a not cooking kick. I haven't been doing much of it lately. I'm gonna try to do a little bit more today, but for breakfast, I am still 100% all about smoothies. I've been having them almost every single day, and I found a recipe that sounds super fun. It's like a chocolatey coffee smoothie. So that is what I'm going to be making for breakfast today. I am going to continue with the trick of adding some oatmeal to it to make it a little bit more filling, and probably have some yogurt on the side to add a little bit of extra protein to it. But that is what is going to be for breakfast today. So let's get the smoothie made. Breakfast is a mocha coffee protein smoothie with a side of yogurt. Now, the base of this smoothie is almond milk and some cold coffee or cold brew coffee. Then some protein powder, a couple of tablespoons of oats that I added to it, and I did cut back to only 2 teaspoons of cocoa powder to make it low FODMAP friendly, and some vanilla extract. I added a banana that was once frozen but kind of thawed, and a little bit of ice, and then put it into my blender. Added it to my serving cup, this cute little glass one. I thought it would look adorable. Added a little bit of frothed up almond milk to it to kind of get that latte look to it, because coffee flavor. It seemed appropriate. And then I topped it with just a little bit of shaved chocolate chips. These are the ones I use. They're gluten-free and dairy-free. I get them at Trader Joe's. The dark chocolate chip ones there are also really, really good. And for my yogurt, I only added a few raspberries for the pictures, but it needed more fruit, so I put a handful of blueberries on it in the end as well. And combined, these are a high-protein breakfast. There is the final protein shake. It kind of ended up looking like almost a hot cocoa, which is kind of exciting. It turned out beautiful. Adding those couple of, adding a little bit of the frothed up milk and a little bit of the chocolate chips. It looks so pretty. For my little yogurt side, I just put in a cup of my homemade lactose-free, fat-free Greek yogurt, a couple of little raspberries on top, and just the smallest, tiniest sprinkling of this granola right here. I got this at Target forever ago, and I'm trying to use it up. But let's go ahead and give this protein shake a try. I forgot to grab a straw, so we're just going to take a sip from the cup. I was expecting to have a bit more of the coffee taste to it, almost like tiramisu would, but it doesn't really have a coffee taste, at least to me at all. It tastes like chocolate banana. It is not bad though. Maybe next time I'll try using some really strongly brewed espresso instead and see how that goes. But no, that's not bad at all. I will enjoy that. So I guess I'm gonna go eat my breakfast, and I'll see you guys back at lunchtime. I just got back from the gym, took a quick shower, and I'm hungry. I need lunch now. So I was looking through the fridge really quickly to see if there were any leftovers that I could make a quick lunch out of, and I found some leftover steak that was grilled up for dinner last night, and a whole bunch of just random vegetables that need to get used up, and a little bit of rice. So I'm thinking kind of like a Chipotle steak rice bowl for lunch. I think I might be able to make that with the vegetables that I have, plus this can of corn. Fresh corn would taste better, but canned corn is lower in FODMAPs. So I think with that and a lot of the vegetables that I have sitting out, I can make lunch. There's probably not going to be very much of a recipe here. It's just going to be me like mixing random ingredients that I have in my fridge. But I'll try to find like a good recipe to link down in the description box for you guys if you're interested in an actual recipe. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on lunch. Lunch is a steak burrito bowl with a corn salsa and a creamy chipotle lime sauce drizzled over the top. For the corn salsa, I use some rinsed off canned corn because it's more low FODMAP friendly, a little bit of red onion, you could use green onion, some fresh cilantro, and a little bit of minced jalapeno, a pinch of salt, and a small sprinkling of paprika, some fresh squeezed lime juice, and gave that a quick mix and set it aside to kind of marinate for a short time to get the flavors kind of mixed together. While I prepared the creamy chipotle lime sauce, I added a little bit of my lactose-free, fat-free yogurt, a small amount of chipotle powder, some salt, fresh squeezed lime, and started to give it a quick mix. But it wasn't too long before I realized it wasn't getting that red color that I really wanted it to have, so I added just a little bit of paprika to adjust for that, and it turned out much more like what I imagined it would be. To some shredded lettuce, I added a little bit of cilantro, just the whole leaves. If you're not a cilantro lover, you can add parsley or green onions instead. A little bit of salt and pepper. And to give the lettuce a nice mouthfeel, I added a little bit of this garlic-infused olive oil, just a very tiny drizzle over the top, and then gave that a good mix together. I had some leftover brown rice that I heated up and added to the bowl. Then some of my steak that I had kind of shaved really thinly, some of that corn salsa, some diced up tomato, and then I drizzled a little bit of that creamy chipotle lime sauce over the top. And that is the final steak burrito bowl with kind of a chipotle cream topping, some corn salsa. Yum, yum, yum. I can't wait to dig into this. I'm really happy. Not only is this, I love this kind of food, just like salads. I love salads and sandwiches. They're some of my favorite types of food. I don't know why, I'm just weird like that. But it's also super fast, which is like 1,000 times the benefit on top of it all. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit of everything on this bite. I really wish I did have some avocado. That would have made this, like, I think, so much better. But I'm using up what I have, which is what is most important here. That is a huge bite, but there is the bite. Let's give it a try. That is so good. There's so much flavor in such simple ingredients. Oh my gosh. I'm kind of glad that I made extras and I have some steak left over, because I'm probably going to make this exact same thing again tomorrow for lunch, because holy smokes, that's good. But I'm gonna go enjoy this and I will see you guys back for dinner time. It is now dinner time, my friends, and I actually found a very interesting looking Greek chicken wrap recipe. But number one, I didn't thaw any chicken out, so I'm thinking about switching out the protein for tofu. And number two, I don't have any gluten-free wraps, so that got my search continuing. And I found it interesting, almost pancake style buckwheat wrap, but I don't have buckwheat and I'm not really a fan of the flavor of buckwheat. It's kind of one of those things that's an acquired taste, I think. But I do have some steel cut oats, so I'm thinking I'm going to swap out the oats in that. Well, a matter of fact, I already did, because I had to soak the oats for a while, which I have already done. And yeah, I just need to blend this up with a little bit of water, some spinach, and I think they're gonna be really, really pretty if they turn out. If it doesn't turn out, well, I still have some leftover rice that I can have the Greek tofu with. But let's go ahead and give these wraps a try, and then we'll get the tofu cooking. Dinner is Greek tofu in a homemade gluten-free oat wrap with a side of fruit. Now, completely optional, but a step that I like to take is to take my tofu and press all of the moisture out. So I take the whole block, wrap it up in a clean towel, place it in a shallow bowl, and then I want to add something moderately heavy over the top, such as cast iron, or in my case, a stack of plates. And I set that aside and usually let that press for about 30 minutes. Time to start the marinade. I start off with some oil, and the recipe does call for garlic powder. Though Fodmap friends, you can just use garlic infused olive oil instead, or just skip out on the garlic in general. Added some fresh squeezed lemon to it, some salt and pepper, and I'm going to mispronounce this, but za'atar seasoning? I bought this at Trader Joe's forever ago, and I'm always looking for a way to use it, so I added this to the marinade. Gave it a quick whisk, and then time to move on to my tofu. After it finished pressing, I cut it into 6 thick steaks. Then I added all of those steaks to a shallow container, topping with the marinade, making sure that I flipped the pieces and got them all thoroughly covered in this marinade. Then I set that aside to marinate while I worked on my oat wraps. Now I have been soaking these steel cut oats for about 4 or 5 hours in water, so they were good and soft. I added them to my blender bottle plus a little bit of water. Now the recipe calls for using fresh spinach. I just had frozen, so that's what I added to it. I made sure that I pressed all of the moisture out of it. Then a pinch of salt. Now it does recommend adding any flavorings you like. I added about a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin to it. Then pulsed it up till it was all blended. Unfortunately, the amount of spinach I added wasn't enough to make it the pretty green that it was in the recipe, but it will still work. I poured some of the batter into my hot greased cast iron and ended up having to spread it out a little bit with a spatula. Now, the first one, when I tried to flip it, ended up being an absolute disaster. It just absolutely fell apart. But after doing a few of them, I kind of got the art down a little bit, and it was much, much easier. The tofu had finally finished marinating, and instead of pan searing it, I decided to go ahead and throw it into my air fryer. I cooked it on each side at 370 for 6 minutes. The texture ends up being still a little bit soft with some golden edges, but you can adjust the temperature and time to your tastes. Now for the homemade yogurt dill sauce. Added a bit of my homemade lactose-free yogurt, a bit of salt, and some dill to a bowl with some fresh squeezed lemon juice over the top. I gave that a quick mix together, and it was time to assemble the wrap. I laid out one of my gluten-free wraps that I had made and smeared a nice helping of the dill sauce over the top and a couple slices of the tofu. Now, I was careful to measure out the amounts of vegetables that I added to make sure they were low FODMAP quantities, including some cucumber, some tomato, some red onion, but easily could switch that out for green onion, and a bit of shredded up lettuce. The original recipe asks for hummus. I don't have any, so I did a quick drizzle of some tahini sauce. And I was quite happy with how pliable the wraps were and how easy it was to wrap this together. I did put it in a little bit of parchment paper and set it aside for a few minutes. That way the wrap would hold together a lot better when I cut it open. And here is a cross section of the beautiful Greek tofu wrap. I was really impressed with how well the wraps held up. And there we go, dinner is done. The wraps actually turned out. I was afraid that they weren't, but it just took a little bit of time to learn how to make them. Once I got it down, they turned out good. I hope they taste good. On the side, I just made myself a little bowl of, there's some melon, a little bit of raspberries and some blueberries in there. Nice, delicious, fresh little salad on the side. Let's go ahead. I want to try this wrap first. I mean, the texture on it is not bad. Oops, I dropped it. Let me go ahead and taste it though. That's not bad. I mean, it's kind of like a flatbread, a little bit bland. I could probably put more cumin in it just to have a little extra something. But yeah, it's not bad. This is not a bad little recipe, and it didn't take too long to make. I mean, after soaking the oats. But I'm just gonna dive in and give this little Greek wrap a try. That is so good. Oh my gosh, that's so good. That got the creaminess of the yogurt with the acidity, a little bit of that richness from the tahini. I know it's supposed to be hummus, but kind of the same idea in the tahini. Oh, this is good. This is good. I love this one. This one is for sure going in my I'm gonna make this again file. Wow, I'm so happy with that. But with that, I am going to go enjoy my dinner, and that means that that will be it for me for today. I hope you guys found some inspiration in the meals that I made today. I will link as many of them as I can down in the description box below if you guys are interested in any of them. And as I always like to remind you guys, please do your due diligence. Double check the ingredients and recipes. Make sure they will work for you, because what works for me might not work for you. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like and subscribing so that you don't miss out on more content like this. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.